So the last skill we need then to finish the topic of pie charts is how to actually draw them. All of the work you've done so far on pie charts has been about charts which are already drawn for you, and then you answer questions about those. When drawing pie charts, very often we get a computer to do it for us, and it is an important thing to learn how to get, say, Microsoft Excel to draw pie charts for us, or maybe Google Sheets. We're all using Google Classrooms at the moment. But today we'll focus on how to draw pie charts by hand. You will need a protractor to do this, so please dig it out. If you haven't got one, then please try to get hold of one as soon as you can. To be perfectly honest, there's not much point in doing a lot of work today until you get hold of your protractor. Once you have the protractor, you can work through this lesson, but it might be worth just watching the video and then stopping there if you don't have your protractor, and just coming back to this later on. If you don't have the protractor, what you certainly could do is watch the video carefully, and you could make notes on the video. You could write like a little "here's how to do pie charts" type set of notes in your book. But regards actually drawing them, you really do need the protractor. There's absolutely no point in just guessing, because you end up with the wrong thing. Okay, so a really important question I want you to consider then, probably something we don't think enough about. Which celebration is the best? Which one is your favourite? Think about those chocolates that are in the red tin. These are the options, and I've already filled in some, like a particular group's suggestions. So I've asked 30 people, what's your favourite celebration? And these were the responses. I'm sure there's no surprise to you whatsoever that Maltesers are definitely the best celebration, and there's no controversy about that whatsoever, and everybody will agree that Maltesers are definitely the best flavour of celebrations, and you're wrong if you think otherwise. But let's ignore that. Some people are wrong. Clearly, some people think Snickers are the best, and some people think Galaxy are the best, and so on. What I'd like to do then is draw a pie chart to represent the opinion of these 30 people here. Which celebration do they think is the best? The first thing I'd like to do is draw a circle. Now, if you've got compasses, you can draw a circle with compasses, but I'm going to suggest the following way. The first thing I want you to do is to draw just a little X like that, little spot there. That will be the centre of your circle. You then take your protractor. This is the best one I could find. You can see it's been patched up with sellotape and so on. What I will now do is I will line this thing. This is called the crosshair of the protractor, and I will line the crosshair up with that cross that I made just now. Okay, but I think that's about right. Now what I will do is draw half a circle, but be careful, don't go from the very edge of the protractor. You need to draw, it's a bit like when you're measuring with a ruler. You don't go to the very end of the ruler, you go to where the first markings on the ruler are. So I need to go from 180 all the way down to 0. So I'm going to draw an arc that goes across like so. Okay. Let's get that crosshair in the right place. You'll be able to do this a little easier than me because I've got a tripod set up here, and it is quite awkward, but no doubt you'll be able to do it better than me. And I'll now flip the protractor the other way up, and again line that crosshair up so that's in the middle, like so. And I will now connect these. Brilliant, so I'm now at the stage where I've drawn a circle. What I will now draw is what's called a radius. That's just a line that goes from the middle to the edge. You can draw the radius anywhere. Most people like to go either straight up or straight across, but you don't have to. You can draw the radius anywhere. Maybe I'll go straight up as best I can with the setup I have here. Okay, so I've got a circle that was drawn, and that was by going not all the way to the edge, but I drew from 180 round to 0, and I turned it upside down and then did the other side. But the first thing I did was put that little cross in the middle, otherwise I wouldn't have known exactly how to place it. And then I put the radius in. Right, great, so I now need to work out then how big should each wedge be. The proper word for a wedge is sector. How big should each sector be for these responses here? Okay, well, the first thing to note is that in a full turn, if you were facing that way and you turned around and you got all the way back to the top again, you would have turned 360 degrees. So it's like there's 360 degrees to be shared out among all the people that need to be represented on this diagram. Now, I've already said that there are 30 people that I asked. What's your favourite celebration? And if you don't believe me, just add them together. So 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 29, 30. It's definitely 30. Okay, so there's 30 people here. If those 30 people are going to share the 360 degrees that are in the circle, I need to do 360 divided by the 30 people. See how many degrees like each person gets. Right, so each person would be worth 12 degrees. And you'll notice actually that only one person said Milky Way. So the correct angle for Milky Way is 12 degrees. It's basically 12 degrees per person. So what I'm going to do now is just go through this list and multiply the number of people that said that flavoured sweet by 12, because if one person is worth 12 degrees, then two people would be worth 24 degrees, 3 people worth 36 degrees, and so on. So I'm just going to go through the list now and multiply them all by 12. So this tells me how big to make each wedge. When making the wedge then, what's important this time is that you line the 0 up with the line that you've drawn in. Now, you could have drawn the line anywhere, remember. I've made it go straight up. And so what I need to do is put the crosshair in the middle again. That crosshair will always be in the middle. But notice how the 0 line is going along that first radius that I drew in there. Okay, I drew that line going straight up, and that's where I put the 0. That's really, really important. Okay. I need to measure 12 degrees. Now on this protractor, I'm reading around the outside scale because, well, clearly that's not 180 degrees up there. So we've got 5, 10, well, 15 is too far. 12 is there on this protractor. So just make a little mark on the outside, like so. Okay. And you could do this bit with a ruler, but I'm using the straight edge of the protractor. So what I'll do is I'll put my pencil on the crosshair, on the centre of the circle like so, and then I can butt the protractor against it like that. That makes it definitely the right position. I might just lift that off for a moment and check. Yeah, that seems to work. Okay, so I've drawn exactly 12 degrees there. It's probably a good idea if you label this as you go along. So that's the Milky Way. Okay, let's do another one. Well, Mars, nobody, but the next one, for caramel, I need 60 degrees. Now, once again, I will put the crosshair of the protractor on the centre of the circle, so that must go there. But can you see where I'm putting the 0 this time? Okay, this time the 0 is not following the first line I drew. The 0 is going along the last line I drew. Okay, can you see that? How it goes from the centre there, but it's going along the very last line I drew, like the right-hand side of Milky Way there. So for Galaxy, I need 60 degrees. Now on this protractor, I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 is over here. Just put a little line on the outside, like so. I could do this with a ruler, or I could do it with the straight edge. See how I'm just butting it against that so I can get that right. Okay, brilliant. And that one is Galaxy Caramel. All right. I'm going to do all of these. I mean, I don't mind you skipping the video to when I've finished if you like, but I'm just going to finish this off, and I will do every single one so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I've done the first the first two, sorry. Let's do Galaxy now. That's 36 degrees. So once again, the crosshair of the protractor goes in the middle, and the 0 line must go along the last line I drew. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, it takes a bit of I'm not rushing this. Can you see how I'm taking my time and I'm doing it carefully and slowly? Maybe even a little tiny fraction of a movement more. Okay, brilliant. So I've got the crosshair in the middle, and I've got the 0 line going along the last line I drew. 36 is what I'm trying to measure. So 10, 20, 30, there's 35, so one more than that is 36. I now use the straight edge. I'll put the pencil down first so I can butt that against it like so. Okay, great. What was that 36 for? That was for Galaxy. Brilliant. Bounty is 24. So I'm going to put the crosshair in the middle again. And notice how the 0 line follows the last line I drew. So the protractor's almost upside down now, isn't it? Okay, great. Crosshair in the middle. 0 line, that's a 0, 0 line going on the last line I drew. 24 is, well, 1 degree less than 25, so it's there. Again, pencil in the middle, butt it against. Okay, great. Oh, it could have been a bit better. All right, but that's my bounty. Okay, that goes there. I need an angle of 48 for Snickers. So let's put that in the middle. Crosshair in the middle. Line that up. 0's got to go along there. Take your time. Now, where's 48 on this? There's 40, 45, 46, 47, 48. I reckon 48 is about there. Okay. Like so. Okay, with 48, that was Snickers. No one said Twix, so that's an angle of 0 degrees as well. 0 times 12 is still 0. And for Malteser, 15 people, 15 times 12 is 180. Well, that's the only one that's left. I don't need to measure 180 because that's what's left. And I hope you can see that that is a straight line there. That won't always happen on every pie chart, all right? But it's happened here as well it should. Okay, we've got 180 in the middle there. Okay, so this over here is Malteser. Like so, and I'm done. That's the end of my pie chart. It's completely labelled and I've got all the right angles going on. So it's finished. Worth pointing out as well, something to do with fractions. So most importantly, we worked out the very first step, if I can remind you, was to say I asked 30 people and we were sharing the 360 degrees available between the 30 people. That was the first step. So I got 12 degrees per person. So then I just multiplied everybody by 12. So one person worth 12 degrees, 2 people worth 24 degrees, and so on. Just multiplied by 12, that was all I had to do. But also notice, let's think about how that relates to the total. Now 15 people is half, right? 15 is half of all the people I asked. I asked 30, so 15 is half of all the people. Well, you know half of the pie chart. Clearly that's half of the pie chart there, isn't it? Okay, and half of 360 is 180. Okay, and that's true all the way down. It's a nice little check. Okay, so the most sensible thing to do would be to add these up. You get a total number of people in your survey, and then you split the 360 degrees between those people. The last thing you might like to do, because it's quite nice on a Friday afternoon, you might like to just colour them in as well. So I have got 6 different colours here because there's 6 different wedges. These are probably not the best pens to use to colour them in. You've probably got something better, like some colouring pencils or something. You don't have to, all right? It's not compulsory. I've finished the maths question already because I've labelled all of the things. But it might be quite nice to say, okay, let's make Milky Way green. And then you could shade the Milky Way segment in green. You could go through and get them all the right colour. That would make your work look really nice. It doesn't change the maths in any way at all, but it might mean that you make something that you like the look of by the end of it. It's to give you, a bit of work to be proud of at the end. Okay, good luck with these then.